Well, this is a favorite story of mine. You know, back in the 70s, Alex Haley wrote Roots, and then there was a mini-series on TV, and it just captured the imagination of this country, and it captured mine and certainly my father's. He bought me the book. I read it from cover to cover when I was probably 12 years old or so. And then Alex Haley came to Trinity University, and I got to meet him. He gave a speech about his generational genealogical research and about the book. And so I always had some interest in family history. And I was so fortunate that my grandmother lived to a ripe old age of about 97 years old. She was just about a month shy of her 98th birthday, and we got to have conversations about our family history. She wouldn't fly. She lived in Chicago, and so I'd have to, if she was to come for a family visit Christmas, someone would have to fly up and then ride the train down with her. And it was during those train rides that I got a good sense of what it was like for her to grow up in East Texas, in Palestine, Texas. Her family was from Anderson County. They first were in Tennessee Colony, and then in the 1800s moved to Palestine, and were in professional life in Palestine at the turn of the century. Well, so I was very interested in this area of our family history. And then in law school, I was at the University of Texas, and driving down San Jacinto, and I see something called the State Archives and Genealogical Library. And I called my father and I said, look, there's a, you know, there are institutions here, right here in Austin, that could help us do some family research. Since our family's from Texas, maybe we ought to go there and see what we can find out. And so he drove up to Austin, and we went to the Genealogical Library. They're very helpful there. The state archives are fantastic. And we just started doing some research. And this is one of those moments in life that you know, you can never forget. We found this obituary on family histories in McLennan County, and that's Waco. And that's important because my grandmother's great-grandfather was from Waco. Her mother grew up in Waco, Texas, and so we thought we might be able to find some family history there. And her grandfather's name was Willis. And so we opened the book to McLennan County obituaries, and we actually found the name Shedrick Willis, and that was her great-grandfather, Shedrick Willis. And it said, Shedrick Willis, old, well-known Negro, dies at age 86 in 1903. And as you're reading down, it says that he was a city councilman, served on the Waco City Council right after the war. And you read another line, and it says he was owned by Judge Nicholas W. Battle before the war. And so this was the first time that we knew that there was slavery in our family history. And it strikes me as ironic that we learn it during a break, you know, that I have from studying property, you know, because he was a piece of property before the Civil War, and contracts because he could be bought and sold. So Shedrick Willis was private property before the Civil War, but afterwards a public servant. And in my mind, that transition is just, it's hard to even imagine what he felt and what was going through his mind as he was presiding over lawmaking in McLennan County and making laws. In fact, as I told this story when I was president of the San Antonio Bar Association, I wrote about it. Someone sent the article I wrote to the city attorney in Waco, and he on his own, he's a friend of mine, I didn't know he was doing this. Arthur Pertile was then the city attorney. He did some research on his own, and he found the minutes where Shedrick Willis had signed in as mayor pro tem. So, you know, in a period of, you know, just about 5 years, to go from being a piece of property to being, in effect, mayor of the city of Waco, that shows you what what our Constitution now permits and has permitted after the Civil War, that someone like me, like the descendant of a slave, can become Chief Justice of the state of Texas. It's, to me, a remarkable story. But there's another part of that story that is equally astounding, and that has to do with this judge, Judge Battle. He had been a district attorney in Waco, and then he actually fought in the Civil War. He was a Confederate soldier. He received commendations from Robert E. Lee for his service to the Confederacy. But when the war was over, he came back to McLennan County, was a judge again, and this time he was one of the instrumental figures in Waco enforcing the civil rights of the newly freed slaves. He wrote and he gave a speech during that time to a group of people that said something like, you know, I was a slave owner. I was a soldier in the Confederate Army. I was a strong states' rights Democrat, he said. But I've recently sworn an oath to protect a Constitution that today includes the 13th and 14th and 15th Amendments, those that gave due process rights and freed the slaves and permitted them to vote. And he said, I'm going to honor my oath. And he actually came through on that. One of the reasons Shedrick Willis came to be a member of the Waco City Council is he had the support and the endorsement of Judge Battle, his former owner. And I think that tells us a lot about our democracy, that when we're at our best when we come together behind a document like our Constitution that gives us equal protection and equal rights, and that if we use our talents, if we educate ourselves, then you can become Chief Justice, you can become President of the United States, you can become an astronaut or Secretary of State, that nothing can hold us back if we use all of our God-given talents to our best. And so this has been an inspiration for me as I serve as the Chief Justice of Texas.